We are ready to rock and roll here. All right. Well, good evening, Royal We. How are you? Happy Monday night to you. It's good to be here. I'm happy that we are live and ready to rock and roll on a Monday night. Monday night is our live chat with the Royal We community. This is where we come together as a community and we ask questions, answer questions, and we just talk about what's going on, especially with narcissistic abuse and all of everybody, whatever it is you're going through. Hi, Tanya. It's good to see you. Karina, Laura, how are you? It's good to see everybody popping up in there. Be sure to say hi as you stop in. And I'm going to go ahead and start off with talking about a few things here. Some things that have been on my mind that I'm working on some videos. I'm going to try and upload a video on tonight. And hey, Fee Fox, good to see you. Hopefully you all can chime in. I'm going to do my very best to stay on topic tonight. We're not going to be talking about get off topic, talking about alpha this and alpha that like we did last time. We're going to stay focused as we possibly can, because it's important. Some of the things I'm going to talk about, I'm going to be twisting something that we typically can fall into the trap of doing within toxic relationships, especially when we're leaving them, when we're coming out of a toxic relationship with a narcissist. We can sometimes get our intentions all fouled up and all messed up. And it really comes into play when we know a toxic individual, a narcissist who we've been entangled with, and we know that they are experiencing a difficult time. Now, we all live in a difficult time right now, which means that anybody can have a pretty tragic experience, maybe the loss of a loved one, illness, the loss of a job, whatever the case may be. And it's very tempting for you, for me, for empaths to come into these situations and use it in a way and be tempted to want to offer support, to want to reach out to that narcissist. I've been there. How many of you have been there? And there's that urge. It's deep, and it's a deep urge. I can do this. I can support. Finally, I can be who I am. I can show them how caring and loving I am. And there's a huge problem with this. One, our intentions. If we're not checking our intentions, we're going to get ourselves all fired up for nothing, no payoff. What am I talking about? Well, if the intentions are to use this as an opportunity to offer support because we want to show ourselves as being the kind, loving person that we know we are, but that the narcissist has refused to acknowledge for such a long time, then that's the wrong reason to reach out to anybody. But if we're honest, this is kind of what we do. And I get this question a lot, Kevin, should I go to this funeral? Should I do this? And my question all the time is, well, what do you know about them? Whose funeral is it? Well, I don't know him. I never met him, but the narcissist knows, and I feel really bad for him. Oftentimes what I hear is that there's a projected pain that we can put on the narcissist. We can make up the story of how hard it must be for them and how painful and how horrible of a situation it must be for them. And in doing this, we then feel like we can go in there and have an opportunity to really show them and others how good we are. In a way, it's kind of like trying to save face. The problem is that they don't care. They don't care. Anyways, I mean, let's look back at the entire relationship. You did nothing but give and love and serve and gave the best you had. And where'd he get you? Big fat zero, right? It gets you nowhere. And so it's important to remember that this is typically typically is nothing more than just another opportunity for you to get sucked into the narcissistic game. Means you're still a part of that game, and try and prove to them you're a good person, you're worthy of their attention and love, and all of their enablers. You want them to realize that you are a good person. Still stuck in that game. Still unable to move forward unless you have that validation. So it's all about your own intentions. And this is a big struggle for a lot of us. And like I said, I'm talking about this because I've experienced it too. when my wife's siblings, when their grandfather passed away, I chewed on it, and I knew him kind of, not really. We talked, and it wasn't we didn't get along that well, but I chewed on it for weeks. Should I call them? Should I call her siblings and tell them I'm sorry? And if there's anything they need, I'm there for them. For weeks I chewed on it. I can do this. And again, my intentions were I'm not a bad person. I'm going to be who I am by calling them. But the reality is the intentions behind that were I'm not a bad person. Do you catch that? I want to do whatever I can. Narcissists get you in this trap where you feel I'm going to do whatever I can to prove to them I'm not a bad person. All right. At any rate, that is what I wanted to chat with you all about tonight. And I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are about this. Is everybody hearing me okay? Everybody doing okay tonight? The telephone number, I'm going to go ahead and put the telephone number up so we can take phone calls. It looks like we did have a call earlier. I'm going to go ahead and put the telephone number up right now so that people can call in. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, on using a tragic experience as an opportunity to try to offer support, right? And did it work? Vicky asked, so did you make the call, Kevin? The answer is no. I did not. I ultimately did not do it. And I'll tell you why. There's a couple of reasons why. I thought long and hard about it. It consumed a lot of my life. I'm putting the telephone number up so that you guys can call, by the way. We can chat about this more. Whoever wants to call in and talk. It consumed me for weeks. Should I call them? I felt it was a real opportunity for me to, be the person for them that I've always wanted to be through this very difficult time. I lost my mother. So I knew I lost both my grandparents already. So I knew that pain. The problem is in this toxic relationship with these particular siblings, I have no other communication. So we don't talk ever. So I thought about that. I thought about the fact that they haven't reached out to me in any way and said, hey, Kev, if you're available, I could really use some help and someone to talk to. We know you've lost some people in your life, and I'm really struggling. Now, had they have asked in that fashion or had brought it to my attention that they needed support, then possibly I could have done the right thing. I believe that's what it means when you're called to love your enemies. It's if and when they're in desperate need of something. But I didn't get any messages. I wasn't asked to be a part. I wasn't asked to talk to them. Nobody, so I realized that me making up this story of how hurt they must be and therefore I should go and talk to them was bad intentions from the get-go. So I didn't make the phone call. I didn't talk to them because I let it go. We don't communicate. I pretended like I didn't even see the message. And it's not entirely true because for those of you who know, I went back to we went back to California last Christmas, and when I was there, I did mention it. By the way, I'm sorry for the loss of your grandpa. So I did have an opportunity to offer condolence, and there's nothing wrong with that. A simple condolence. I'm sorry for the loss of your grandpa. Okay, if you happen to come in contact with him. But what we're talking about here is going out of your way to contact them, to show up at a funeral, to find out, what can you do to help them? You know what I'm talking about. In the empathic way to go out of your way when it's not asked for. Okay? That's what we want to avoid. And Dee says, Kevin, why is it we always want to be the proactive one in this situation? Is it because we are so understanding of our own responsibilities and want to participate? Is it obligation? D, excellent question. And that's exactly what we are talking about. The very first thing, if you haven't done this is always check your intentions first. Your intentions will tell you. So the answer, Kevin, why is it we always want to be proactive one in this situation? Okay. If you're dealing with narcissists, check your intentions because there's the likelihood that it's viewed as an opportunity for you to show face, to put your best foot forward, right? This is where I shine in being a supportive person. So oftentimes we can create this situation of so much pain existing that we project that onto them and then we rush in to be the proactive ones to make sure everybody's okay. If we're not careful, our intention is to do this so that we can look good. I know that's not what you want to hear, but I have to keep myself in check in this as well. All right. This is definitely true, mind you. I'm not talking about healthy relationships. I'm talking about toxic relationships, relationships where there's nothing good in it. Okay. That's when I feel as though we can rush in and create this pain on them and rush in and try to help them so we can show face in that toxic relationship, kind of as a see, I'm not bad type of a thing. So I think that we can't rule out that part of it, D. Other reasons we're proactive, probably just because we're proactive. We enjoy being somebody who's caring and supportive. Nothing wrong with that. But in toxic relationships, not a good thing. Not a good thing. We need to be able to know when and where it's needed and when and where it could be used in a way that's going to benefit other people and benefit ourselves. Yeah. Yeah. And D says, I wanted to be engaged in the situation. I'm a doer, involved, want to be a part of it, not to run it or to be in charge, but to show I have a team spirit of assistance. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. I think like a first responder, but that doesn't work with narcs. No, no. And the reason it doesn't work, D, again, on the intention part, is because if you're doing it with the intentions of trying to show that you're a good person, right? Oftentimes, what is it that drives and motivates anybody? Obviously, you want some form of reward. You want to know that you're resonating with people, right? I mean, I do the royal we. It's rewarding. One, I get to express a lot of the things I've experienced, and I get to help people. But the fact that it resonates, right? If it resonated with absolutely nobody, well, then I'd have to consider doing something completely different, right? It wouldn't make any sense. And so this is where we find ourselves with narcissists, right? Being a first responder type, being the person who's supportive, you're doing that with people who do not resonate with you at all. So it's like it doesn't matter. And you feel that, which is why you feel like it doesn't work. How come I'm a first responder here? How come I'm always trying to be supportive and nobody is, it doesn't matter. They hate me still. Because nothing you do is ever going to work. So one of two things has to change. Either you be a first responder there, not caring at all if they like it or don't like it, even if they hate it, or simply understand that you don't need to be a first responder there because you're never going to get anything resonating out of it. Never. D says, love D's questions tonight, D. Thanks for being on fire with those questions. Was talking with a guy friend, says he is empathic. He's never been married, never had any kids. I have a conflict with that. Okay. The single life is pretty selfish with no commitment to relationships. Yeah. Yeah. It's very hard to be empathic if you have nobody around you in your life to be empathic to. And, you know, depending on how old this guy is, I mean, if he's in his 20s, okay, that makes sense. That's fine. He may very well be empathic and haven't found the right match. If he's in his late 40s and never been married, then what's the capacity to empathize? It's a good question. Way to spot that out, D. She says, maybe it's just my perspective. I expect empathic people to be involved in family, close relationships. Yeah, I would. Again, how can you cultivate empathy in your life if you're not being empathetic to the needs of others? who are in your life. And if you choose to live a life that you're never with others, then, you know, and that's not the same as is staying away from toxic people. Obviously, uh, it says nothing about a lack of empathy to get away from toxic people. But all of us have some people in our life, even if we shut out all the toxic world, there's either children or there's people that you exercise empathy with. Edna says, questions here, how to respond when you are told that you have no empathy? Uh, don't respond. That's just that's bait to pull you into an argument. That's them trying to feel better than you. All you have to do is just say, look, it's too bad you feel that way. It really is. Because I do have a lot of empathy. But I'll leave you alone. I want you to feel good. Do that. I'll stick it in their face. I just want you to feel good. And it seems like you're upset with me right now, so I'll let you go. Okay. That's my empathy talking. All righty. Bye-bye. Have a good night. Heather, I'm so grateful to hear that I'm not alone in these worries. I oftentimes wonder if I should attend my father's funeral when he dies. It'll be like going to a Chernobyl in terms of toxicity level. Yeah, stay away. I hear that, absolutely. And, if it's going to be more toxic than it's worth, then there's absolutely no reason to be there unless you're directly involved. If they've asked you to specifically do something to be a part of it, that's one thing. You can consider that. Okay? You've been given a task, you've been asked something, and people need something from you. That's something to consider. But that comes only if there's a special request. Okay? And then you make the decision whether or not you're going to do that. And it's okay to say no, by the way. It's always okay to say, no, I'm not going to do that, right? It has to be something that is heartfelt. And if that's the case, then, you might have something there. But if they're not, if it's more of a thing of, well, you should just go because it's your father, and go, how selfish of you if you don't show up, but you're not really involved and it's all toxic, then don't. Why? Why bother? Because what you're doing is you're not being around people who even want you around. You're being around people who get something out of feeling like they can make you be around. Huge difference. Huge difference. All right. What's up, Crate? It's good to see you here. There's another live chat going on, huh? Uh-oh. Do I got to change my time zone? Am I in competition here? All right. Well, listen. Any other questions? I'm going to do my best to try and upload this video tonight. And I look forward to seeing people's comments and response to the video. All right. With that, I believe I'm going to wrap it up early tonight. Only one live chat is showing in notifications. Is it this live chat, D, or is it another live chat? Tanya says, tell us more stuffs. More stuffs. All right, well, let's see. Last night, I could always kind of reiterate some of the videos that I posted. Last night's video, of course, was a difficult one to try to get across. And that was the whole idea of what was last night's video? Someone help me out here. I can't remember what I titled the video. That's my problem. But it's about not it's about avoiding your responsibilities in life. And we're not talking about the it's not talking about the responsibilities that we all know about. It's avoiding the responsibilities that we don't know we have. And that is directly related to our gifts and our talents and what we do with our time and things we're good at. These are the things that narcissists directly attack in our life. They go after the things we enjoy, the things we like, the things we're good at. And what happens is after toxic relationships, we tend to bury these things down. And in what I talked about in last night's video was the idea of the parable in the ancient literature of the Bible, the New Testament, the book of Matthew. There's a parable about the master who gave his servants, three servants, talents. And the talent was a lot of people think that that just has to do with money, but I take it totally different. A talent is any type of a gift. And I believe that our talents in life are gifts. And so, anyways, the servant gave it to, or the master gave it to the servants. The first servant, who was given 5 talents, went and doubled it. The second servant, who was given 2 talents, went and doubled it, which means they went and they used these talents. They invested them. They took the investment from the master and they reinvested it. And the last servant took the talent, the 1 talent that the master gave him, and he buried it. And when the master came back and said, "What'd you do with your talents?" The first 2 said, "We went out, we invested it, we gained back a lot more than what you gave us." And the master said, "Well done, good and faithful servants." And he went to the last one and said, "What'd you do with your talent?" And the servant said, "Well, I buried it. I didn't even do anything with it because I know that it belongs to you, and so I didn't do anything with it. And he said, "Wicked servant, you should have used it." Right. And I think that this is an indication to all of us who have, if you know what your gifts and talents are in this life and you're sitting on it and you're refusing to do it, you're avoiding it. You're making excuses. You're too tired. You're too hurt. You're too painful. It's too frustrating. Not enough time. All this stuff, which typically comes after toxic relationships because we buy into the lies of narcissists and we stop. We avoid this responsibility of reinvesting our talents. That was the purpose of last night's video. Yep. Scylla Grace asks, how do I deal with someone when I try to, by the way, real quick, thank you, Tanya, for your support there. Thank you. I appreciate that. Scylla Grace asks, how do I deal? There it goes. It got away from me. Scylla Grace asks, how do I deal with someone when I try to distance myself and they tell me they are depressed or sad and rope me back in? Their sadness and their depression is not your responsibility. Don't carry it as your burden. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel shame for them. So the best response is to listen, is to tell them, listen, it's unfortunate that you're going through that. I hope you can find the right kind of help because I'm not qualified to help you with your depression. That's all you have to say. I'm not a counselor. I'm not your coach. I'm not a counselor. I can't help you. I wish I could, but there are plenty of people who can help you. Matter of fact, you could even throw me out there. Throw me under the bus. You could say, I know this guy, Royal We guy. Bring your depression. Monday night live chat. No, don't say that because then you might be chatting with you back and forth, and you may not want that. But you get the point. The point is that you don't want to be burdened with other people's depression and their junk, especially when you're trying to heal. Right? You're not qualified for that. That's not what you signed up for in these types of toxic relationships. And so it's best just to let that be known. Simply saying no. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. All right. Share the Royal We live chat on Twitter. Thanks, D. Yeah. I should get a tweeter. Should I get a tweeter? Who here thinks I should get a tweeter? Yes, Tanya's absolutely right. Primary responsibility is always to yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm so grateful for all of you here tonight. All right. Well, I'm gonna look into tweeters. Yes, get on tweeters. Tweeters kind of looks to me. It seems like a Facebook, but because people just go on there and argue and throw little quips out at one another. I'm gonna check it out, D. D, will you friend me on Twitter? What's a tweeter? Exactly, Jennifer. Twitter has international exposure. Ah, okay. All right. Pretty cool. Tweeter is a bluebird. Yeah. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. All right. D says I take screenshots and post them on Twitter. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Yes, I can really promote you on Twitter. I have thousands of impressions. I'm sold, D. D, I'm in. I'm in. D is the Royal We Fellowship marketer. Royal We Fellowship marketer. Thank you, D. I am on the news now. You're on the news? Awesome. That is amazing. All right. All right. Well, listen, I do want to get a video uploaded for you all tonight on the Organic Royal We channel. So I'm going to uh, go ahead and D. Well, before we go, let's hear. I want to hear D. D, what's your story on the news? Can you type it out real quick? Tell us what's going on. How'd you get on the news? I'm the unofficial social coordinator for the Royal We. Ha! Yes, unofficial social coordinator for the Royal We. Yeah. I think my first post on Twitter is going viral. What was it? What was your first post? We're all inquiring minds would like to know. We're putting D in the spotlight here. Right on. It's always good when you can share in other people's happiness and joy here. I responded to a post and went viral. Its numbers are going really high. That's cool. Right on. Right on. Hey, Ninja AF, what's going on? Was a coffin being carried by a tractor at the White House? Was on a coffin being carried by a tractor. I said that to the deep state. Nice one, D. Classic. Classic. Love it. Listen, for those of you who are just joining in, I'm actually getting ready to sign off. You can watch the replay. We did talk about a lot of good stuff tonight. Watch the replay on that. I am going to. Hi, Ninja AF. What's going on? It's good to see you. Uh, we're getting ready to wrap things up, but that's okay. You can watch the replay. I'm going to be uploading a video the uh on the Organic Royal We channel tonight. Every time I see you say organic, people are like, "What the heck is organic?" I just mean the OG Royal We channel, the one with all the videos uploaded. So that I call that the organic channel. I don't know how I gave it that name, organic, but it's just there. That's what it is. So the OG. I think it started off by me saying OG, and then that turned into organic. Makes no sense. I know. So head on over there, and probably if you don't catch it tonight, then first thing in the morning, it should be up and available for you. And with that, I'm going to sign off. Thank you for all of your love and support of this channel, and blessings to you throughout this week. I know that a lot of people are going back to work this week, myself included, and it was rough rolling in back to work after having some time off. I'll tell you what, I could use another. I could use another vacation. 76.5 impressions on Twitter so far. Nice, D. All right, everybody. Hey, if you're not already, be there Saturday morning. That's Shabbat for Royal We Fellowship. We're having a great time going through the ancient literature of the Bible, applying it to our understanding of narcissism. A lot of really good insights coming out of that. Be sure to like and subscribe. Share with your family. Share with your friends. Share with people who you love who are not toxic, who can really use some help right now. Be sure to hit the bell notification, and we'll be back here next Monday night. And blessings to all of you throughout this week. And we'll see you next Monday night. Good night.